share about budgets. Most of us are taught that budgets are bad and budgets are restrictive. Not necessarily the case. Today I'm going to tell you about a budget that I just found out, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I've used different budgeting tactics, I've used Excel, I've used different things, but I found a budget I think is going to really be a good plan. It's called the 50-30-20 budget. I think that budget is pretty good because it looks at the overall picture. And I think oftentimes the reason why I kind of steer clear budgets is because I dreaded it. I dreaded feeling like I had to be starving myself almost like a diet. I felt like as if it was too restrictive, and I felt like I'm just going to fail at this. I might do good for maybe several months and all, but I found myself consistently falling back and just not sticking to it. So I'm just dropping in today to kind of introduce you to a possibility and just your mindset. Think about it. You guys, budgets are not bad. They're meant to keep us in line, almost like a parent. When a parent spanks a child, you love the child, but you're trying to keep that child in line. Budgets are the exact same thing. They actually keep us in line. Well, hey, second act, come back. You can relate? Yep, I can too. So let's look at this. If it's a 50, 30, and 20 budget, this simply tells you, hey, 50% is all about the important things, your mortgage, your utilities, your groceries, things like that, because those are the essentials. You have to have those. 50% of your entire budget should go towards those items. Of course, after you've paid your taxes and things like that. We're talking about your net income. So 50%, it goes towards your essentials. Let's look at that 30%. 30%, this is the part I like. It looks at entertainment, the fun things, the getting your nails done, your hair done. You should spend no more than 30% when you're talking about things like that. Only because, when it comes to budgets, when they're restrictive like that, you're not going to stick to them. Most folks will not stick with them because, like I said, you fear being told what you can't do. But with this type of budget, 30% of it is actually allocated towards fun and things you enjoy doing. But I'm going to say this, even though you enjoy doing things, when you see yourself making headway and you're doing a really good job with expenses all around, you might want to pull back. You might decide that I don't have to have that steak, that burger, or that chicken will do, or maybe a salad. You may decide that, I'm really doing good with my budget. And although I have allocation for entertainment, maybe instead of you going to a theater and spending nearly $50 to go see a movie, you might decide just to chill and watch Netflix. You're still accomplishing the same goal. You're still enjoying yourself, but you're doing it with being more fiscally responsible. You're thinking about spending. And also, let's look at the 20%. 20% of your budget goes towards, savings. We all need to have a savings because you have to understand there's a thing called a rainy day, and those rainy days, they do come. Or maybe you're trying to save up and put more money towards your savings account or your 401k. 20% of your income should go to things like that because you do want to have investments, you do want to save. But when you look at the whole overall picture, when people talk about a rainy day fund is just that. It's there in case you have an emergency. You have to understand in this world, we have job losses, we have things that come up with our cars, with our kids. So you have to allocate for that. Let's say you want to use it towards vacation. Go ahead, use it for something like that too. But the goal is that you wouldn't so much look at your budget and think, I have to save this, I have to spend this, I have to pay this. No. If you do the 50, 30, 20% rule, there's essentials, non-essentials, and also savings. So you're actually using that, of course, equals 100%. So 100% of your income is going into categories, and you're basing your spending upon that. Now, I will say this. Let's say there's times where you might say, you know what, I'm spending more than 50% on my essentials. I get that. But let's kind of understand that the end game and the long-term goal is that you will get to the 50%. We understand sometimes bills that come up, unexpected expenses. So you may dip in and you may say more than 50% of my income is going towards essentials. That's okay. Then you want to back up on the other end and you don't want to pay as much when it comes towards things like, having fun. Your 30%. Take away from that. There's times where, let's face it, the 20% savings is just not happening because things come up. That's okay. Reallocate your spending. But if you have a targeted way that you're doing things, a targeted way that you're spending your money, typically when you target your finances, you're going to do better because you have an actionable step you're taking as far as just saying, hey, here are my bills, I'm just going to pay my bills. No. Categorize your money, calculate your expenses, and determine where you're going to have that money working for you. You may decide that, this month I've done really, really well. I'm going to allocate not 50%, I'm sorry, not 30% towards entertainment. I'm going to allocate 20% towards entertainment. I'm going to put more over into my investment, my savings. So no matter what, you're still at 100% of your budget and you're allocating those funds specifically. So I hope that's going to help you. So once again, look at it. Budgets aren't all bad. It's how we look at the budgets and what we think the budget is. The budgets are not bad. Like they always say, no such thing as a bad dog. It's just a bad owner. When it comes to money, money's not a bad thing. It's how we use the money that becomes the thorn in our flesh. So I'm going to encourage you, look at that 50, 30, 20% allocation for your debts. Like I said, don't be discouraged if you say, well, at least I'm spending at least 60% of my net income on expenses. It's okay, but the goal is to get to that 50, 30, and 20. So you're paying your essentials, 50%. You're having 30% to have fun and splurge a little bit, not unreasonable. And you're also using 20% in your savings, so you're investing that. You can't lose with that strategy. So I'm your dividend friend. I'm here until you win. I just want to help you to kind of look at money a different way, and you'll change your mindset. And also you begin to target your expenses in a designated area, so you're not finding yourself overspending, under budgeting. You don't want to do that. I'm also going to offer and suggest that maybe you look at different budgeting apps. You know, I've used different apps in the past. They've actually helped me to stay the course and stay on task. Sometimes when you see what you're spending, you kind of realize that, I'm spending this excessive amount maybe in this area, and you tend to pull back. So look at different budgeting apps. You guys, we all have our telephones. These phones now, they do everything. They're really a working computer in your pocket. So go in there, get some, look up some apps, some free budgeting apps. They'll help you. Most of them have like a 50, 30, and 20 built into the software. You don't know it, but they'll ask you, what are your living expenses? What are your outing, your entertainment, and also what are your goals for savings? So they actually have those budgeted in there. And for those couples, for those that like to say, hey, there's two of us looking at the budget, there's an app I will tell you, it's called Honeydew, D-U-E. Like, you know, the bills that are due, where you both can actually put your expenses in there and you can see where the money's going, and it holds you accountable to your spouse, so you can see what they're spending, they can see what you're spending, and it all around helps. Maybe you're not married, maybe you have a friend that you trust. Once again, it's going to hold you accountable. You can see what's going in and what's coming out. Hey, it just may help you. So once again, I'm a dividend friend. I'm here until you win. My goal is that you win not only at life, but that you win by tackling your finances. So, hey, second act comeback, great tip. I'm glad that you found it helpful. That's my goal, is to help as many people as I can. But I'm going to get back to my day, doing some more charts and just doing some work. I want to just jump in and say, hey, consider that 50, 30, 20 budgeting plan. And also, when it comes down to it, you got this, you can do it. It's not about what you have, it's how you use it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.